But when it comes to being filled and being empowered, being set free, being commissioned, receiving a grace of His, or receiving empowerment from Him, or asking for more from Him, I don't like to put Him on a timeline. I'm going to do it till He answers, because that's what He told me to do. I want to share a story about when my wife and I first got married. My twins were about 7 years old, and maybe 8 years old, actually. And we ended up, they were 9 years old. Okay. They were 9 years old, and we didn't have much money. I was a poor student. I sold everything I had to go to ministry school. I lived off of a budget. My wife really gave up a lot to marry me. She had a career, she made good money, and she sold it all. And she came to America where she was not allowed to work because she came as illegal on a visa. We waited 1.5 years for that process. But when she got here, she couldn't work. So we had no money. And when you're a bachelor, men can live like cavemen. I mean, everything I had in my little apartment was just handed to me. And it was a dirty apartment. I mean, it was in a condo apartment building kind of thing. And so you'd go in and you'd smell like cat, smoke, curry, garlic, all types of different, because everyone's close. All their apartments are close, their doors are thin. And then you get into our apartment, and, we made it a home. But it was just very, she gave up a lot. I had a couch that had a broken leg, and so I just took a dumbbell and put it right under there, and it was just perfect, that's the kind of life we live. And then I remember going through this thing where she said, honey, can we get a coffee table? I didn't own a coffee table. And she's like, I just have nothing to place my tea on and coffee on. And I said, sure, why don't you just take some pictures of different things, and we'll save up money and we'll buy it, And so when I got back from a trip, I said, hey, did you check out some things? She goes, yeah. She showed me this. She's like, she showed me this first thing. I said, what is that? She goes, and what it was wooden pallets that were like stapled together, like old wooden pallets. And she goes, it's reclaimed wood. I said, why is it $800? Why would you? It's like a rip. Anyway, there was another one, and she shows the next one. It's like this wooden spool, like in a shipyard, like an empty wooden spool with like a mirror glued on top. I was like, what's that? She's like, it's repurposed furniture. I said, why is it $1,500? Like, why does it have to be that? So anyway, I said, if you don't care what it looks like, I'll just build it. And that's what I did. I took wood, and I sawed it and built it, and it looked like someone put, old furniture together. And it was $60. Anyway, so back to my story. So what was I going to talk about? Oh, so we didn't have much money, and we couldn't afford Christmas gifts for the whole family. And so we decided, why don't we just do a family gift? And so I'm from the city, born in Philly, never camped a day in my life, but we thought, why don't we just buy a camping gift for everyone? And so we bought a tent and some sleeping bags and a little Coleman gas propane grill thing. It's like one of those travel things. And on Christmas time, we just opened it all together, and we even set it all up inside the house and the little apartment, which the tent couldn't even extend all the way. And so it was just this fun idea. And then when it came time in June, we decided to rent the state park. You can rent for $10 a day. So again, we're on a budget, so we did that, and we're driving into the camp, and man, I realized how uneducated we were about what you need for camping. And I had this old Volkswagen station wagon that I was driving, and I'm coming in, and these people are professional campers. There's like RVs, and everyone's like been there for weeks, all decked out, like and they're just looking at us driving in. And so I drive. It's like a little the $10 for $10. It's like a gravel spot you put your car on, and then in front of your car is a spot where you can set up your tent. And so my wife and my daughter started doing that, and then my son and I, we noticed that there's this like metal ring in front of our spot, and we saw, oh, this is a fire pit place. Like, you can start your own fire here. I didn't even think about like having a fire. I just thought about the grilling. I thought, oh, we can cook our food on the grill. And so I said, son, let's be men. Let's start a fire. How hard is it to start a fire? So I get these. I go to the corner convenience store. I get some matches, and it's like the people in the country can smell when city folk are around. They're like coming out of their RVs, and they're watching us set up. And we were literally the only one with a tent. And people are watching us, and we're just collecting wood around the campsite. And this guy next to us, he's rented the spot next to us. He's just holding his beer, watching us. And I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Just me and my son starting a fire. So anyway, we get the fire there, and my son wants to light it. I said, no, son, you can't light it. I got to light it. And so I get the match, and I'm like, hold on. Block the wind, son. Block the wind. And the guy holding the beer can is like, you're not going to be able to start a fire like that. I said, why not? It's fire and wood. He said, the wood's too wet. I said, it's not wet. He said, no, it's rained a few days ago. It's not dried out enough. You will never be able to start that wood. He said, you need dry wood. I said, oh, okay. Well, I didn't have dry wood. I actually went to that same store, bought a bag of dry wood, because that's the solution for every city guy. Just let's buy it. And so anyway, I got my dry wood, and I put it there. And now I don't know why this guy slow played me, all right, okay, except for his own entertainment. But so I'm there with my son. I'm like, all right, son, we got this dry wood. And I light it, and the flame goes up the side of the big wood, and it goes out. Do it again, it goes out. And the guy's looking at me. He's like, you're not going to be able to start a fire like that. I said, why not? I said, it's dry wood. I got the dry wood. He goes, it's too big. You need kindling. I said, what's kindling? He said, it's usually like twigs and leaves and stuff. He said, but around here, it's too wet. He says, do you have toilet paper? I said, oh, we got a lot of toilet paper. See, for some reason, if you're from the city and you got to go camping, you have this weird fear you're going to run out of toilet paper. I don't know why. We brought like 6 to 8 rolls, a whole case of toilet paper. I was like, what did we think was going to happen in the next 3 days that we would need this? Like, looking back, I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking. I was inexperienced. So I was like, oh, we got toilet paper, because it's like paper, cardboard. So we got toilet paper. So we got the paper, and we put it in there, and we lit it, and it went, pfft. I said, see, babe, we should have bought that 2-ply. This single ply will never work. No, just kidding. That was a joke. I never said that. So we put the toilet paper in there, and the guy said, now, when you light it, breathe on it, and it'll intensify and heat up. And so we lit it, and we breathed on it, and we catered to that fire until finally that larger wood lit. And we were so proud, and we were like, that fire must never go out. And we just kept saying, it's like, because it's so hard to light a fire sometimes if you don't know what you're doing. And well, I love that story because so often I find myself in one of those stages. Sometimes I'm too comfortable in where I'm at. I'm like that wet wood. God sends his fire, but I'm not desperate enough for him. I'm not hungry enough for him. Sometimes I'm like the big dry logs. I want God to light the big vision, yet I won't be willing to steward the kindling of the small fire he lit. I think one of us, as some of us are at different stages. You know, I do feel that, and I do believe strongly that we are believers, and so it's not by what we feel that we attain these things. Some people say, I want to feel this, I want to feel that. I say, that's not what it's about. But we are in communion with him and made in his image. And so, of course, he's made us to feel things. God feels compassion. God feels joy. God feels peace. He knows what power is. So if you feel those things, don't stop that from happening. Just be a sail in the wind. If he's breathing, go. But sometimes I just challenge myself and my friends. You know, when I would go to the beach, it just amazed me how this is what I think. I think some of us are just deeper buckets than others. And the water line needs to get higher for you to get filled. You need to press in further. You need to go and knock more and seek more and ask more. Like if I put my 4-month-old baby on the shoreline, one wave will take her out. If I take my 2-year-old son, we could walk maybe 3 or 4 steps before a wave would take him out. My 3-year-old, maybe another step or 2. My 4-year-old, 5 more steps and she's gone. Me, I could walk maybe another 6 steps and then I'm gone. My Norwegian friends, maybe another 10 steps and they're gone. My point is, we're all different and we're not made the same. But some of us give up just off of one knock and then have to build a theology of why God didn't come in that way. You know, the disciples, when they were asking for the Holy Spirit to be poured out, they waited 10 days. Jesus said, go to Jerusalem, pray that the Spirit comes, right? And so they're in Jerusalem waiting. How long would we have waited? I wonder, God, how long would I have waited? I mean, I've been in prayer meetings. Have you been in prayer meetings? And you're like, okay, it's been 4 hours. Did we do it? This is, maybe a day. Would I have lasted a day? Would I have lasted 2 days with them? I know if they did other things. I know they, decided on a disciple and they must have corporately been communing together and fellowshipping, but they were together waiting for the Spirit to come. They purposed in their hearts not to leave. And so would I have waited 3 days? Maybe I would have said, like, hey guys, Jesus rose in 3 days. It's not happened yet. Maybe we missed it. Maybe it looks like something else. Maybe it's something else. Maybe we heard him wrong. Maybe we didn't. Maybe we're thinking of something else. Would I start to try to create a theology within the group of why the Holy Spirit is here? And you know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking out loud with you. I'm not trying to create a theology. I'm just saying, how long would we have survived? See, we live in a different culture right now where we're used to getting things instantly. I mean, I grew up, and I know most of us have, where, I remember 56K. What do you know that? That's dial-up internet. I would log into my email, go get a cup of coffee, come back and go, oh, what's this email? Click on that email, go and make my bed, come back, and then the email loaded. And we thought that was quick, right? What I'm saying is, now go 2,000 years back. Okay? And I'm not saying we need to wait 10 days and have 10-day rallies and all this stuff. But what I'm saying is, Pentecost is on the 50th day. That means there was 10 days of waiting. And I know we have church we have a church structure for a reason. I'm not saying we should have endless services. I think we need to have services with times. I would go nuts because I like to know what time things start and end. But when it comes to being filled and being empowered, being set free, being commissioned, receiving a grace of His, or receiving empowerment from Him, or asking for more from Him, I don't like to put Him on a timeline. I'm going to do it till He answers, because that's what He told me to do.